Alright, so I'm back with a new video. So this is the Melaka trial, okay? Melaka trial for Addmaths, for Addmaths 2022. Okay, let's skip through the formulas. Okay, we have question 1. Let's start. Okay, simplify this thing here. Okay, so let's write it down first. Okay, let's do it here. Okay, number 1a, k power 1 over 2 times with 3k power negative 1 over 3. So we need to know that even though they write like this, 3k power negative 1 over 3, but it's actually a times relation here, okay? So the 3, I will just leave it, and then this k and this k, we can do it together because they are same base, right? So k and k, they can do together, so it becomes k, and what's k power 1 over 2 times k power negative 1 over 3? You should know that when you take two numbers with same base, and you want to times them together, you need to plus the power. You will take the power and plus them together. So 1 over 2 plus bracket negative 1 over 3. And you can use your calculator to press this. You will get 1 over 2 minus 1 over 3, right? So what you get? You will get 1 over 6, right? So that should be the answer for A. Okay, let's move on to question B. Okay, question B says what? Show that 5 power x plus 1 minus 5 power x minus 1 plus 5 power x is divisible by 29 for all positive integers x. Okay, we will not look at this word for now because they want you to show that this thing can divisible by 29, right? So what they are asking you is actually you just simplify lah. You're just simplifying this thing, uh, and then after we done simplify, then only we check for this. Okay, and then only we will look at this. So for now we will not focus on this word first. So how to simplify this? First of all, can I combine these three into one? The answer is no. You cannot combine. The reason why we cannot combine is because it's not times divide. Okay, if it's times divide like just now, you see base k times, then I can combine it. Okay, if it's same base and then times, then the power will be plus. If it's same base divide, then the power will minus. But this is not a times divide, this is a plus minus question, so we can't separate them. I mean we can't combine them. We cannot combine now. So how can we simplify then? Okay, we will split everything. Okay, we will pecahkan everything and then bungkus, and then only we will combine it. Okay, so pecahkan everything, separate and bungkus. Okay, so how we separate this is we will separate it like this: 5 power x times 5 power 1. Okay, same with here, we can separate it like this: 5 power x and then times with 5 power negative 1. Okay, but what if some student wants to write 5 power x divide 5 power 1? Can also. Okay, can also is the same. Okay, I usually like to write like this. Okay, and then plus with what? 5 power x. Okay, this one cannot separate already. You can only separate when the power have a plus minus sign. This one, you cannot separate it. It's already like this. And now what you do is you try to bungkus. Yang tak boleh buat, you bungkus. For example, 5 power x tak boleh buat kan? So you bungkus. Okay, when I say bungkus means you open a bracket like this. So, but you have to be aware there's actually tiga ketul dekat sini. Satu ketul, dua ketul, tiga ketul. So, this ketul 5 power x tak boleh buat, I'll write here. 5 power 1 is 5, so I will just write here. Actually, you want to write depan belakang is up to you. But you can write belakang also if you want. Minus, then minus. 5 power x, same thing, I cannot do, so why not I just bungkus. 5 power negative 1, you can do, right? It's 1 over 5, so you can write here. Okay, you want to write belakang also can. And then plus with 5 power x, you can tak boleh buat, so you can just bungkus. And now what you can do is just look at this tiga ketul ni. They all have similarity. They all have 5 power x, 5 power x, 5 power x. So what you can do is you can tukar this 5 power x A for temporary, just sementara. So when you change to A, it will become what? It will be 5A minus 1 over 5A plus A, right? So what you have to do now is you just tekan calculator, tekan 5 minus 1 over 5. And a lot of students forget to plus 1 here because they thought, oh, there's nothing here. But actually, you have to plus 1, okay? And if you press this, what you will get in your calculator? So you will get 29 over 5A. So the answer will be 29 over 5A. But of course, you don't write A lah. You write 5 power x because you are just changing the 5 power x to A for sementara saja, just for temporary. And then you have to change it back to this. So that's the answer, right? You already successfully simplify this tiga ketul into into something that is in the simplest form lah, okay? But if you look carefully, the soalan, it says that they want you to show that this thing is divisible by 29. So now only I will look at this, all right? So how can we show that this is divisible by 29? It means I have to see the 29 in here lah. Because we all know 29 over 5 and 5 over x, tengah-tengah is darab. So if we want to show that this thing can divide by 29, what we have to do is we have to make sure we see the 29, okay? We see the 29 in our simplest form. So what we can do here is, we can see that this is base 5, this is base 5. So base sama, right? And if you look carefully, they are divide. Because this 5 duduk bawah. So it would be 29 times with 5 power x divide 5 power 1, which is 5 power x minus 1, because base sama divide the power with minus. So now this is divisible by 29, because after I simplify it in this way, now we can say that this thing is divided by 29, because this is times relation, and when you divide by 29, you can cut, right? Okay, but you don't do that lah, okay? So we already successfully show that it can be divided by 29, so we can just write the word shown here, and that's the answer. And of course, this one, you don't have to show them also, can one. I just write it there so that you understand where I get all these values, okay? So that's how you do question 1, okay? Okay, wait, let me just check quickly with the answer scheme. Okay, yes. Okay, let me just take my calculator for question 2. All right, wait. Okay, so I'm back. Let's continue with question 2, okay? So let's read the question first. The diagram 1 shows a 20 centimeter length pendulum. So this 20 cm will be the length of pendulum. So I should say that here is 20 cm, here is 20 cm, right? This line 20 cm, this line is also 20 cm, and OL is also 20 cm, okay? OL is also 20 cm, okay? So it's O until the L here. So OA, OL, OB, they are all 20 cm. And then they say hanging at point O, which has an initial position at L. So the initial position at L means when the pendulum is not moving, it's like when the pendulum is resting, the position is at L. And then when the pendulum is pulled to position A, so if you leave the pendulum until position A, which has a vertical height difference 4 cm. So I think this is referring to this H lah. Okay, the tinggi here is 4. And if this height is 4, it means this small part should also be 4, right? Right? This vertical height is a 90-degree one, and vertical height should be 4 also. So let's read again. When the pendulum is put to position A, which has a vertical height difference of 4 cm from its initial position, and then release, the pendulum oscillates. So if I pull up here, when the vertical height 4 cm and I let go, it will oscillate. Okay. Find the distance traveled by the pendulum from A to B. You should know that this is a circular measure question. Okay. Why? Because what they are asking is to find the length of arc AB. Because they want distance traveled from A to B, means they want the distance here, not the horizontal distance. No, it's the arc distance. So what they are asking is to find the length of arc. So we should know the length of arc formula is S equals R theta, right? So we'll take the radius, which is 20, times with the theta. And the theta has to be in radian. And the theta will be where? It will be this angle here, this whole angle here, okay? But we don't have this angle, right? We don't know. We don't even know what is this angle. So this is when we have to find this angle, right? So how can we find this angle? Okay, first of all, this is circular measure, and in circular measure, there's a few formula you need to know. This is the first formula, length of arc, S equals R theta formula. Second formula is area of sector, 1 over 2 R squared theta. Next formula is the length of chord formula, the chord formula, which is 2R sine theta over 2. And then the next formula is the area of segment formula, which is 1 over 2 R squared bracket theta minus sine theta. Okay, how can we find this angle? I don't think you can use any of this formula to solve, because you can't use this formula to solve, right? And you can't use the area of sector. They never even mention anything about area here. And I don't think you can use chord formula, because they never give you the chord. They never mention chord also. And I don't think you can use area of segment formula. So when all the formulas you cannot use, then what you have to do? There's only one jalan keluar, right? Remember, I told you in class, during circular measure, if all the formulas you cannot use, then you have to look for this shape. What shape? A very specific shape, a very specific triangle, the right angle triangle, right? Because the right angle triangle will help you how to find the angle. So why we have to look for right angle triangle? Because right angle triangle we can use Pythagoras theorem or trigo, the Socato to find. So let's find out where is there any right angle triangle in this diagram. So you can see that there is a right angle triangle. Okay, here, 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 right? And this will be 90 degree. And we all know that this is 20, right? And we actually can find here also it's 16. How I know it's 16? Because I know OL is 20, remember? And since this small part is 4, then this is 16, right? So we can use Pythagoras theorem to find this length. But it doesn't help. It doesn't help. Like you find this also is useless one, because why we are not trying to find this, we are trying to find the angle. So what we need is using trigo, not using Pythagoras theorem. I know you can find this length by using Pythagoras, but it's not helping. Okay, what I want now is the angle here. So I should use trigo to find angle, because Pythagoras theorem cannot help us to find angle. So depan sudut is called opposite, depan 90 is called hypotenuse, the remaining one is adjacent. So now we have adjacent and hypotenuse, we should use cos, right? So cos theta, okay, I should call it cos angle AOL. Angle AOL equals to what? AOL equals to adjacent 16, hypotenuse is 20. And now I will press the calculator and I will get this angle. Let's press now. Shift cos bracket 16 over 20. So okay, shift cos 16 over 20. Okay, in degree minute is 36 degree 52 minute. Okay, but of course this is not the full angle. This is just half of the angle, right? What about the other side? You just times 2, right? Because if you want to get the angle AOB, you just times 2. Okay, so it'll be 36 degree 52 minute plus 36 plus 36 degree 52 minute plus 36 degree 52 minute, that means times 2. So when you tekan times 2, you get 73 degree 44 minute. 73 degree 44 minute. So now what you have to do is just put in the formula inside the length of arc formula. Okay, so but before that I have to make sure it's in radian first, right? So I have to convert to radian, because this is in degree. And how to convert, they already say use pi 3.142, so you will times with 3.142 divide 180, because I need to convert to radian. So let's press answer times 3.142 divide 180. Okay, 1.287 radian. So 1.287 radian is the angle from like from here to here lah, AOB. So the length of arc AB will be what? 20 times 1.287. Press this and you get the answer. Okay, I got 25.74. So 25.74 centimeters. Okay, that's how you do question 2. Okay. Okay, let's go to question 3. The diagram 2 shows a straight line graph of x, y against x. Definitely linear law. Okay, because you look at the y-axis, it's x, y, and look at the x-axis, it's x, right? And then they give you some points here. Okay, so first of all, we need to know that from the diagram, we can already say that we can nampak the this point is actually the y-intercept. Can you see it? Because the x-coordinate is 0 and the y-coordinate is a, means a is actually your y-intercept. Okay, and this B3 is just a point yang ada passes through. Point yang the straight line got passes through. Okay, let's read the question. Given that y equals to 7 over x minus 1. So they did give us equation for this soalan. So if it's a linear law soalan and they give you equation, you should always convert to linear form. It doesn't matter how they ask. If they give you equation in linear form, linear law soalan, you must always, your step 1 is always convert to linear form, change to linear form. Okay, so calculate the value of A and B. But you have to convert to linear form first. You can't find A and B without converting to linear form first. And how to do that? How to convert equation to linear form? You can just through the y-axis. Because when you are convert to linear form, you have to make sure your equation must be same with y-axis. Now your equation is y equals something, but the y-axis is xy. So you know, in order to make them the same, equation kalau nak sama dengan y-axis, I have to take everything times x. So when you times x, you become xy. When you times x, you become 7. When you times x, you become negative x. So now you just susun a bit. Xy equals to the negative x I will put in front plus 7. Why you have to susun like this? So that it's in linear form. Y equals to mx plus c. Make sure you write y and x row besar. And if you check, the y-axis is xy. Can you see? It match. And then the x-axis is x. in match also, means the gradient is what? The gradient is -1, and then the C is 7, means the y-intercept is 7. But you have to write in capital letter, y-intercept is 7 like that. Okay, so now they want to find value of A and B. Now only I will focus on the diagram. So from the equation, I know I can get the gradient and y-intercept. But what about from diagram? So from equation, the y-intercept is 7. But what about from diagram? From diagram, what's the y-intercept? A, right? So it means A is 7 lah. Okay. What about the M is -1, right? But this one is I tengok dari equation. What if you tengok dari diagram? Can you find gradient from diagram? Yes. Just take, you have 2 points, right? So you just take 3 minus A, 3 minus A divide B minus 0. And we all know A is 7 already, so just put 7 there. So 3 minus 7 is -4 over B equals to -1, and then -4 equals to -B, B equals to 4. All right. So A is 7, B is 4. Okay. So that's how you do the question 3. Right. Okay, let's go to question 4. Okay, here comes a difficult question. So this is from trigonometry. Okay. So for trigonometry, you have to be careful because this chapter, there's formulas that you need to memorize, right? The basic identity, double angle, multiple angle, and all those. Okay, so let's read the question first. Diagram 3 shows a pole reinforced by 2 same length ropes to the land. Okay, so this is a pole, but to make the pole stable, got 2 rope to reinforce. So we have 2 rope of the same length. So definitely this rope and this rope, they are the same length. Okay, so if they are same length, I think we can all assume the 180 divide 2 will be 90 here, because since this is same length, so I think this and this will be same length also, and the height here also, they share the same height. They share the same height. Okay, now they say given that sine x over 2 equals to 2t. I'm sure this will be useful. Okay, this will be one of the information. So I will use this to do later. So express A. A says what? Express the length, which is represented by L, of each rope in terms of T. I think what they are talking about is the length here, not the length here. This is the height of the flag. What they want is the length of the rope. So how can we express the L, the length of rope in terms of T? So I want this, right? So how can I do it? Okay, first of all, we saw a right angle triangle. Okay, and we already know this is L. So let's draw it out. Okay, so you draw it out. This is 90 degree. This is the length of rope, and this is the angle X, right? And we do know that this is 90 degree. So if you want to use one formula to include all these 2 lines and this angle, we would use cos. Okay, because I'm trying to express length in terms of t, right? So what you can do is use cos lah, because depan sudut is called opposite, but we don't have the opposite. Okay, but actually we can find it lah by using Pythagoras. But why not we just use the one yang kita sudah ada, which is the 90 degree opposite hypotenuse, and also the adjacent also provide for us already. So A and H we use cos. So what I write is cos x equals to what? Adjacent over hypotenuse 90 over L. And now I will pindah so that the L is single. So how we pindah is I will tukar tempat. Okay. So the L is divide becomes times become divide. So it will be L equals to 90 divide cos x. Okay. Bahagi jadi darab jadi bagi. It's just tukar tempat lah. Okay. But it's still not the answer yet, because they want to express length of rope in terms of T. This is length in terms of X. I want in terms of T. And if you look at my answer doesn't have T now. So this is when I have to use this information to solve. Okay. So this is 90 over cos x, right? So the 90, definitely you can't do anything to it. But the cos x, I need to change to something else. Okay. And I need to make sure there is a T inside here, or else I will not get these 3 marks. Because the soalan wants me to write in terms of T, not in terms of X. So this cos X definitely need to change to something T. But if you look at the whole question, only dekat sini saja yang ada T. Can you see? Sin X over 2 equals to 2T. So I have to use this information no matter what. So this is when you have to use the double angle formula. All right. So cos X and sin X over 2 actually have some relation one, I don't know if you got memorized the formula I asked you to memorize in class or not lah, but let's talk about it. So in double angle, we know that if I say sin 2A, it can change to what? It can change to 2 sin A cos A. And then if I talk about cos 2A, it will be cos square A minus sine square A. Or you can also say that it can change to 1 minus 2 sine square A, or you can also say 2 cos square A minus 1. Of course, there's also tangent 2A, but I won't talk about it here because you don't need that to do this question. But this is the double angle formula, right? This is the double angle, the double angle. But what about half angle? Okay, what about the half angle formula? I mentioned in class that you don't have to memorize also, because the half angle and the double angle will look very similar. So this is sine 2A, right? What if this is sine A then? Then what will happen? It means the angle have to divide 2. I repeat, the angle have to divide 2. The angle have to divide 2. So what happens here is, it will be 2 sine, the angle have to divide 2, and the angle this side also have to divide 2. Okay, because on left side, my angle divide 2 also. Some students, they thought the 2 also will hilang because divide 2. No, the 2 will still be there. Only angle saja yang divide. So let's talk about cos A. What do you think will happen here? It will be cos square. Since this is 2A, 2A become 1A. So the A here will become half A. And then the A here will also become half A. That's all. Let's go to the next one. 1 minus 2 sine square will become 1 minus 2 sine square. And then angle A will become half A. Same with the last one. 2 cos square, and then the angle have to half A minus 1 like this. All right. So these are all the half angle formula. Okay. And this one, the one I'm circled now, is given in exam 1. Okay. But I say in class already, right? Even they give also, you have to memorize it. So if now using this formula, we can actually do this question. So we know that we have to masukkan cos x here, right? And if you look carefully, cos x is, we can use this cos A, right? But you can change to 3 different things. And which one do you think I will change? Of course, this one lah. Okay, of course, this one. So cos x can change to 1 minus 2 sine square x over 2. So 1 minus 2 sine square x over 2. And the reason I'm changing it to this is because I already tell you the answer they want in terms of t. It means I have to use this information. So definitely I will use this one lah, yang ada sine punya. Sine A over 2. This is sine x over 2. Okay, so now let's continue. It will be what? L equals to 90 divide 1 minus 2. Okay, what is sine square x over 2? Sine square x over 2 means sine x over 2 square. That's what it means. Because sine square x over 2 means like this. It means sine x over 2 bracket sine x over 2 like this. That's what it means. Okay, so we already know sine x over 2 is 2t, right? The soalan yang bagi punya. So what I can do is I will write 2t lah. But of course, kena squarekan dia because it's sine square, right? So now I will just simplify this, then I get my answer. 90 over 2t square is 4t square, right? But 4t square have to times 2, so 1 minus 8t square. So that is the answer for A lah. Okay, for A. So that's how you get these 3 marks. Okay. You just have to memorize it. There's no other way. Okay, because if you memorize the formula, you will nampak cepat the connection between cos x and sine x over 2. But if you don't memorize it, yeah, it's very hard to do the triangle question. Okay, let's go to soalan B. B says they want you to find tangent x over 2, but in terms of what? In terms of t. Okay, so how can we find the tangent x over 2? Let's think about it. Okay, pretty sure I'll be using this information also, right? Because this information is free one, they give for us. So tangent x over 2 and sine x over 2, did you see any connection? I hope you answer me yes, because tangent x over 2 can change to what? Can change to sine x over 2 divide cos x over 2, because we all know tangent can change to sine over cos. Okay, so yeah, let's do that. But there's a problem. What's the problem? The problem is I only know sine x over 2 is what is it? 2t. So I only know the yang atas. The cos x over 2 I don't have. If I have, then I can masuk, then I can get the answer already. But I don't have now. So let's try to find cos x over 2. And how can I find cos x over 2? Well, just use this half angle formula. Because look at this. Do you remember the cos A can change to 1 minus 2 sine square A over 2, but at the same time, it can also change to 2 cos square A over 2 minus 1. So why not this time I use this? So let's do it. So cos A, let's use cos x lah. Let's change the A to x. So cos x equals to what? Instead of changing to the sine square one, I will change to the bawah one. 2 cos square x over 2 minus 1 this time. And we all know the cos x value is, okay, wait. Let's think about this. How should we do this? So we are, okay, yeah. Because we're trying to find cos x over 2, right? So what we should do is we should pindah lah. We should pindah so that we left with cos x over 2. So what I will do is I will write down cos square x over 2 here, and I will try to pindah to make the cos x over 2 single. I will pindah the minus 1 first. So it will be cos x minus 1 jadi plus 1. And then the times 2 here, pindah jadi divide 2. And of course, there's a square here. So the square will become what? Will become square root lah. Okay. So now we all know that the cos x over 2 is equals to square root cos x plus 1 over 2. So now what I will do is cos x over 2 equals to square root. The cos x, I will just open a bracket plus 1 over 2. So what is cos x? Okay, let's scroll up. Cos x, do we know cos x? The answer is yes, because cos x is 90 over L. But don't write 90 over L. Write this one. 90 over this. Better, right? So because they want your answer in terms of t. If you write 90 over L, later your answer will be in terms of L already. So if I want in terms of t means, I will write 90 over L, but I already know L is this. So 90 divide 90 over 1 minus 8t square, which is also same with 90 times with what? Times with, this one can terbalik, right? So 1 minus 8t square over 90, and then the 90 and 90 cut, you left with 1 minus 8t square. It means this is cos x, right? So cos x is actually 1 minus 8t square. So I will just write here 1 minus 8t square. And then 1 plus 1 is 2, right? So it will be square root. 1 plus 1 is 2. So 2 minus 8t square divide 2. But hold on. I have to divide 2. Means this number have to divide 2. This number also have to divide 2. So why not I just divide 2 straight away? So when you divide 2, you will get what? 1 minus 4t square equals to cos x over 2. And now this information can masuk here already. So what is cos half x over 2? Square root 1 minus 4t square. Okay. Yeah, let's write nicely. So how do we write this? So 2t over what? 2t over square root 1 minus 4t square. Okay, and this is your final answer. Okay, this is your final answer. So let me just check with the answer scheme. Okay, yes, correct. Right. So hope you understand. Number 5. Convert the recurring decimal. So you have to know this word. Recurring means what? It means the decimal, after the decimal point, the digit keep repeating and it goes on forever. Okay. But you have to determine the recurring decimal is how many digit is recurring. For example, if it's 0.77777, then this is a recurring decimal and only one digit is recurring. Okay, means reoccurring, re-happening, one digit. But if this kind of decimal, it's a 2-digit recurring decimal. It means it recurs after 2 digit. 545454 like this. So convert the recurring decimal without using the progression method. Okay, what does it mean by without using progression method? It means without using the S infinity formula. Okay, but I remember I got teach you a very quick method, like a shortcut in class. I say what? If you want to convert the recurring decimal to fraction, you can just divide by 0.99. Okay. If it's a 2-digit recurring decimal, then you divide by 0.99. If it's a 1-digit, then you divide 0.9. If it's 3-digit, you divide by 0.999. That's all. Okay. But this is 2-digit, so 0.54 divided 0.99. So the answer is 6 over 11. It means if I tekan 6 divided 11, I will end up with a decimal that goes on forever, 0.5454545454 like that. Okay. And okay, what else I want to say? So yeah, that's how you do it. Okay, I remember already. But what if it's 1.5454? Then how you want to do it? Okay, if it's like that, then you will minus 1 dulu. Okay, no. You will be like this. 1 plus with 0.545454, right? And then it will be 1 plus, and this one I want to convert, it will be 0.54 divided 0.99 like that. Okay, it means the one you should take it, how to say, take it out first like this. Then only you convert the rest, because the one is not repeating, right? Only this one is repeating. Okay, but anyway, this question you don't have to lah. Okay, this question is already like that, so that's how you do it. Okay, but if it's like 2.5454 ataupun 1.5454, then you will separate the one first. The one you will write in front, and then only in the end you will plus. After you convert, then only you plus one. Okay, okay, enough. Let's go to B. Okay, they give you a rectangle and a triangle. The length and the width of rectangle is given 2 square root 5 minus square root 2, okay, and square root 5 plus square root 2. So this is a rectangle, so the length and the width. Determine the area of colored region as shown in the diagram 4 and state your answer in this form. So where A and B are rational numbers, so they want to find the area of shaded region, so I assume it's the area of triangle lah. So how to find the area of triangle? So maybe some of you will say, oh, find the area of rectangle and then minus the area of this triangle minus the area of this triangle. Okay, can also. You want to do like this, can also, but you don't have to actually, because if you look carefully, if you want to find the area of triangle, you just take 1/2 times base times height, and you have the base and the height for the triangle already. The base is 2 square root 5 minus square root 2. And the height, you cannot take the slanted height. You cannot take this height, you cannot take this height. Because the formula 1/2 times base times height, the height must be the perpendicular height, which is this height. And I also have already. It's this one, right? So it's just 1/2 times 2 square root 5 minus square root 2 times again with square root 5 plus square root 2. Okay, that's how you find the area of triangle. You don't have to take area of triangle minus area of this small triangle, then minus this. Can also lah, you will get the same answer also, but it's just you're just wasting time. Okay, but you will end up with the same answer. So it's faster you just do it like this. So which one you have to darab first? I think it's better you darab these two value first, right? So how you want to darab this? You will darab one by one, right? First, you will take 2 square root 5 times square root 5. You will end up with 2 bracket 5. Because square root 5 times square root 5 is 5. And then next, you will take 2 square root 5 times square root 2. So you will end up with plus 2, you just leave it there because 2 cannot do anything. But the square root 5 and square root 2, they can do because they both have square root. Square root 5 times square root 2 is square root 10. Okay. Now let's go continue with negative square root 2 times square root 5. This one negative, positive become negative. Square root 2 times square root 5, they can become simplified, becomes square root 10. Finally, it's negative square root 2 times positive square root 2. So negative times positive end up with negative. Square root 2 times square root 2 is just 2. Okay. And then just put a bracket like this. So now it'll be 1/2. Okay, 2 times 5 is 10, right? But the 10 can minus 2, which is 8. And then 2 square root 10 minus square root 10 is just 1 square root 10. Because it's like 2a minus a. Because if you look at this is square root 10, square root 10. So they are similar surds. So we can sementara tukar jadi a. So 2a minus a is 1a. So 2 square root 10 minus square root 10 is just 1 square root 10. And now you can divide by 2. You will end up with 4 plus square root 10/2. But don't write like this. Write like this. 1/2 square root 10. Okay, it means the same lah. But why is it better to write like this? Because they ask you to state your answer in the form of like this. A plus b square root 10. So 4 plus 1/2 square root 10 means your A is 4, your B is 1/2. Okay, so that's the answer. And then just write cm squared because it's in cm, right? If I'm not mistaken. Okay, so that's how you do it. Okay. Okay, number 6. So number 6, it says diagram 5 shows a trapezium ABCD. So it's a trapezium. So we can see that there's a 2 parallel lines here. But the arrow is pointing differently. Okay, tak apa, let's baca dulu. Given that vector, okay, so this is which chapter? Vector lah. So vector AB is what? H plus 2i minus 3j. So A to B. So the arrow they draw for us is already correct, in the correct direction. So H plus 2i minus 3j. And also you need to know this is coordinate vector because everything is in ij. And then what's CD? Vector CD is 2i plus 3j. So the arrow you have to point towards the 2i plus 3kj. And then next is what? 2ab equals to dc. Okay, I'm sure this will be useful later on. 2 times vector ab equals to vector dc. And then suddenly they say find the values of h and k. If they want to find value of h and k, you should try your best to make h and k into one equation. In vector, memang macam tu kan. If they want to find m and n, then you will try to make m and n inside one equation. For vector, that's the method. So if they want to find h and k, and if it's a vector question, then you will try to make h and k inside one equation, which is very easy because they already say that 2 times vector ab equals to dc. So you just 2 open bracket equals to vector dc, which is negative 2i minus 3kj. You have to tukar tanda because this is C to D, right? So if I want to DC, I have to 2i become negative 2i plus 3 jadi minus 3. But the AB, you can just salin from here. H plus 2i and then minus 3j. Let's use a big bracket like this. Okay. Okay, now what? 2 times H plus 2 is 2H plus 4i. And then 2 times negative 3 is just negative 6j equals to negative 2i minus 3kj. And now what you can do is you can compare. You can take out the I punya coefficient and I punya coefficient and compare. So it becomes 2H plus 4 equals negative 2, H equals to negative 3. And continue with negative 6 equals to negative 3k. But you don't have to because you end up with the same answer. Negative 6 equals to negative 3k. What you get with the k? You get 2, right? Wait, did I do something wrong here? 2h plus 4 minus 6. Okay, the answer should be the same. The k. Okay, yeah lah, betul lah. Okay, sorry. At first, I thought like they are both h. I thought here also h, here also h. But betul already. So 2h plus 4 equals to negative 2. And then negative 2 minus 4 is negative 6, right? Divided to negative 3. So yeah, this is correct. And then the other one is negative 6 equals negative 3k. And then k equals to positive 2. Okay, so find the value of h and k. So the h is negative 3, the k is 2. Okay, so that's how you do it. Okay, let's look at the next question. The next question B says what? Find the unit vector in the direction of AB. You should know that unit vector formula is what? The unit vector formula. So unit vector in direction AB. The formula will be 1 over magnitude, 1 over the magnitude of AB times with the vector of AB, but it has to be in IJ. The vector of AB should be in IJ. So if you look at vector AB, you know already is H plus 2i minus 3j, and we know H is negative 3. So let's ganti masuk. Negative 3 plus 2i minus 3j. So what's negative 3 plus 2? Negative 1. So negative I plus minus 3j. So now we just need to find the magnitude. That is why I empty out all this space. It's because I want to find the magnitude of AB. So how to find the magnitude of AB? So we will just square root bracket square plus bracket square. And what we will put inside the bracket is the number in front of I and j for vector AB. So for vector AB, we already know it's negative I minus 3j. So the magnitude will be negative 1 square plus with negative 3 square. And the answer will be, okay, here is 1, 3 square is 9. So it will be square root 10. So the magnitude is square root 10. Right? And now you can darab masuk, right? Actually, you want to leave your answer here also can one. But I usually like to darab masuk one. So darab masuk, expand the bracket. So it'll be negative 1 over square root 10i minus 3 over square root 10j. But there's also some other teachers that, you know, stop here. And which can also. Boleh juga. Okay, so that's the final answer. All right, let's go to question number 7. Okay, given fx equals to this, and then f prime x equals to this. Okay, I should write this down, right? So where should I write it? Okay, let's do it here. So fx equals to 4. Okay, they give you fx and they give you f prime x. What is this f prime x? Some students will confuse this with the f inverse, you know. Like, no, they are not the same thing. If it's f negative 1, that's chapter 1 for chapter 1 function. But if it's like this, we call it f prime. And this is not chapter 1. This is chapter from 5 punya chapter 2, which is differentiation. It's not under inverse function. It's under bezaan punya bab, differentiation. So they give you fx and they give you f prime x, which is after differentiate. And now they want to find the value of m plus n. But you cannot find m plus n first. You have to find m and n first. Then only you can find m plus n. But how to do that? You go to fx and then you differentiate yourself and then compare your answer with the answer. And once you compare, you will get the value of m and n, right? So it means I have to differentiate this later. And we all know before differentiate ataupun before integrate cannot have x dekat bawah. So what I will do is I will move this out. So it becomes 4, 1 minus 2x power negative 3. Because when we move up, the power have to cut under like this. And then the f prime x, this one I will just I will not touch. Okay, I will just leave it standby like this so that later I can compare. Okay, so now I will find my own f prime x. Oh, and by the way, you can only move this up when there's no x dekat atas. If there's sudah ada x dekat atas, then you have to separate. Ataupun if you cannot separate also, then you have to use the UV method. Okay, so for this case, if let's say there's an x here, then you cannot move up already. And you cannot separate also. So you have to use the UV method already. If there's an X there, but they don't, there's no X here. That's why I can just move it up like this. And now I can start to differentiate. And how to differentiate? Since this is power -3 and you cannot expand power -3, you only know how to expand power 2, right? So what you do is you will just anggap this whole thing sebagai X. It's like you're differentiating 4x power -3. So what you do is you take power direct number and then power -1. -3 times 4 is -12. Power -1 is -4. So do the same here. -3 times 4 is -12. And then the power have to -1. So it'll be 1 minus 2x, -3 minus 1, -4. But don't forget this. You have to open the bracket and differentiate inside the bracket sekali lagi. So differentiate one more time inside the bracket. So differentiate 1 is 0. Differentiate -2x is -2. Then you complete already. That's how you do it. Okay. But if it's this case, you don't have to lah. Okay. If it's just x here. Okay. But if inside the bracket is like 1 minus 2x, okay, ataupun inside got more than one term, okay, I shouldn't say like that. If inside the bracket is something else, then you have to differentiate again, okay? Okay, so -2 times -12 is 24, and then 1 minus 2x power -4. Actually, you can move this down ke bawah, because when you move ke bawah, then the power negative become power positive already. But don't do that, because you already know you will compare this with this. And if you look at the one they write, they never move it down. They just tulis macam biasa. So I should tulis macam biasa also, so that I can compare. So m bracket 1 minus 2x power n, compare with the one I do just now, 24 bracket 1 minus 2x power -4. And it's very clear now what is the value of m and n. M is 24, and then the 1 minus 2x I can compare, but don't cut lah, don't cut. You're just comparing them, and then n is -4. But they want m plus n, right? So m plus n equals to 24 plus with -4, and you will end up with 20, right? So that's how you do the A question. Let's go to B. Find the value of P given by 1 over P integrate f prime x dx equals to -1 over 81, comma, x equals to 2. Okay, I will leave the -1 over 81 here. There's nothing I can do here. But on the left hand side, we can do something. Do you remember they say fx is this, and then f prime x is this? And I already tell you, f prime x means differentiate. It means if I differentiate the 4 over 1 minus 2x power 3, I will end up with this. I will end up with m1 minus 2x power n, right? So if I want to, what happens if I integrate this? So from 4 over 1 minus 2x power 3, if I differentiate, I will get what? M bracket this one, which is, what's m just now? 24, right? So 24 bracket 1 minus 2x power n, and n is -4. So from here, I want to become here, I will differentiate. What happens if I integrate here? Then I will get back here. So if I integrate 24, 1 minus 2x power -4, I will end up back here. So what is integrate f prime x? What is integrate f prime x? This is f prime x, right? So I will end up with this one. It means it will be 1 over p bracket 4 over 1 minus 2x power 3. Okay, that's what it means. But they want you to find the value of p, and they already give you x value is 2. So what you have to do is just ganti value of 2. So it'll be 1 over p, and then 4 over 1 minus 2 times x, 2 times 2, 4, right? And then bracket power 3, close bracket, equals to -1 over 81. And now I just have to pindah, then I will get my p. Okay, let's do inside bracket first. 1 minus 4 is -3. -3 power 3 is -27. And then bracket equals to -1 over 81. Since this is a times relation, it will become, so this is times, and then it will become -1 over 81. Okay, the 27 duduk bawah. So if it's duduk bawah means it's divide. So divide will become times, times. And then the 4 duduk atas means when you pindah, it will become duduk bawah like this. So 1 over p equals to negative times negative become positive. So now it will be atas darab atas, bawah darab bawah. So it will be 27. Because 1 times 27 is 27, 81 times 4, 324. So now you can simplify. What is 27 divided 324? Let's press. Okay, I end up with, wait, 27 divided 324. Okay, I got 1 over 12, right? 1 over 12, but I want p, right? So you should darab silang, cross multiply. P times 1 is P, 12 times 1 is 12. So the P is 12, right? So the answer is P equals 12, okay? Okay, let's go to question number 8. All right, let's scroll down. Number 8, given C is a point on line segment joining A and B, definitely coordinate geometry, because you see like find equation of locus, find equation, so yeah, this is coordinate geometry. So given C is a point on a line segment joining A and B. So what I will do is I will draw a diagram. Actually, you don't have to draw, also can one, but it's better to draw because you will understand better if I draw it out. So A is negative 12, 1. Let's just draw it. Let's just put it here, negative 12, 1. And then B is 3, 7. 3, 7. Okay. So negative 12, 1. Okay. So this is just a diagram only. Just help me to visualize it better. Such that AC equals to 1 over 3AB. So what you can do is you can move the 3 over here. So it becomes 3AC equals to 1AB. And now you can know the ratio. How to know the ratio is like you have to baca dalam dengan dalam, luar dengan luar. So the AC ratio will be 1, the AB ratio is 3. So where should I put my C? I think you can put somewhere here lah. Then it makes sense, right? AC ratio 1 and then AB ratio 3, which means this is 2 lah. Okay. Because they already mentioned C is a point on this line, right? So it's somewhere in between. Okay, find the coordinates of point C. So the point C coordinate, I don't know, but I can find using what formula? I cannot use midpoint formula because the ratio is not 1, 1. What I will use is the point C formula. Do you remember point C formula? You have to cross multiply like this, right? And you always have to write the point in yang tengah-tengah. So which is the point in between for this case? Point C. So point C equals to bracket, line, comma, line, bracket. And bawah mesti ratio add together one. So 1 plus 2, 1 plus 2. And then atas will be darab silang. So darab silang, A times 2. It means what? Negative 12 times 2, 1 times 2. So negative 12 times 2, 1 times 2. And then B times 1. So it will be 3 times 1, 7 times 1. So 3 times 1, 7 times 1. Okay. 3 is x coordinate. So of course you will write at the x coordinate. 7 is the y coordinate. Of course you will write here. And if there's nothing in between, means it's a plus. Okay, 1 plus 2 is 3, 1 plus 2 is 3, 12 times 2 is negative 24, 3 times 1 is 3, 1 times 2 is 2, 7 times 1 is 7. Now we get the answer, negative 7, 3. Okay, let's go to question 2. Question 2 says what? Find the equation of straight line AC. Whenever you see this word in Addmaths, find equation, find equation, find equation, you definitely need to use what formula? I'll do it here. Y minus y1. Okay, let's write down AC first, and then y minus y1 equals to gradient x minus x1. That's how you write the equation. Of course, you can also use the other method, y equals mx plus c. Can also. Okay, but what do if I want to use this formula, means I have to have what information? I have to have the gradient, and also I have to have the x1 and y1. Means I need a gradient and a point yang ada passes through. Okay, and to be more specific, I need the gradient of AC and point yang AC ada passes through. So do I have the gradient of AC? Let's see. I don't think I have it, right? But I can find because I have point A and I have point C. Because I already know my point A is what? My point A is negative 12, 1. And my point C is this. So to find the gradient is possible. So the gradient for AC will be, so I will take the y minus y, 1 minus 3. And then divide by x minus x, negative 12 minus negative 7. Negative 12 plus 7 lah. Because that's how you find gradient, right? Y difference in y divide difference in x. So negative 2 you will get, and then power negative 5. So the gradient is 2 over 5. But I still need what? I still need a point yang ada passes through. But we already know this is line AC. So of course the line AC will passes through what? Will passes through C lah. Will passes through A and C. So definitely we can use negative 7, 3 as a point. Actually, you want to use the point A also can. You will get the same answer. Okay, let's do it. Now we can muscle the formula already. So it will be y minus y equals to gradient x minus x. For the gradient, 2/5. For the point, it will be y minus y coordinate. So the y coordinate is 3, so y minus 3, and then x minus negative 7, which is x plus 7. So y minus 3 equals to 2/5x. When you expand, you will get 14/5 here. Now you will end up with y equals to 2/5x plus 14/5 plus 3. Let's press calculator. 14 divide 5 plus 3. Okay, let me press 29/5. So that is the answer for question 2. But we still have another question, right? We still have another question, which is question B. So B, let's see what they says. Okay, wait. Erase this. Okay, point P move. The moment you see the word move, means we are talking about moving point. Means this is a locus question. Okay, and I remember I revised so much about on this locus part in class. Hopefully, and I don't know you got come or not during that class, but I already revised with you. So if they say point P move, means we will let the moving point, which is point P, and I will jadikan dia XY. And then the second step is checking for ratio. If there's ratio, you have to make sure you write the ratio, and then only you have to use the distance formula. Okay, let's read. Point P move such that the distance from B is always 6 units. So we can say that the point B is what? Point B is the fixed point. So and point B punya coordinate you tahu kan? 3, 7. So let's write it down. 3, 7. It means that P is the moving point, B is the fixed point. And then they say find the equation of locus of point P. So this type of locus question is the the senang punya jenis one, because there's just one fixed point and one moving point, and there's no ratio. All you have to do is just use the distance. You can skip the ratio part and go straight to the distance formula, and they already know the distance has to be 6. So PB, the jarak has to be sentiasa 6. So I will just use the distance formula. And what's the distance formula? Square root, bracket square plus bracket square. Inside here will be x minus x, here will be y minus y. So x minus 3, y minus 7. So how you do it is you hilangkan square root. How to hilangkan? Square both sides. Square left side, square right side, you get 36 here. The square and the square root you can cut, and then you left with this one and this one. So what is x minus 3 square? How to expand this the fastest way? So first you will square the pan. Square the pan. X square is, you will get x square. And then you will take the pan darab belakang darab 2. So negative 3x times 2, negative 6x, and then belakang square is positive 9. Let's continue. Same thing. How to expand this quickly? Just take the pan square. Okay, the pan square is y square. And then the pan darab belakang darab 2. So negative 7y times 2, negative 14y. And then belakang square. Negative 7 square, positive 49 equals to 36. The square all hilang already, because I expand already. And the square root also hilang already because the square root and the square outside cut. So now we just have to susun in the susun nicely lah. And how we susun first? First we will write x square, and then we will write y square, and then we will write x, and then we will write y, and then we will write the number, and then equals 0. So the number is 9 plus 49, which is 58, but I have to minus 36, which is 22. Okay, so the answer is 22. Okay, let's correct it. So that's how you do it. Okay, you can use your calculator to help you. Okay, let's go to question number 9. This is obviously which chapter? Probability distribution. So if it's probability distribution, there's two types. First is binomial distribution, and then we have normal distribution. If it's a binomial distribution question, we need to know the formula. The NCX, P power X, Q power N minus X formula. And also the mean formula, variance formula, standard deviation formula. But if it's a normal distribution question, you have to refer to the Z value punya table. But let's read the question and see what they want. X is a discrete random variable such that X is like this. Okay, let's talk about this. If they write like this, X, and then they put this line, this wave, and then B, and then they write 25P, right? You should know that the before comma, that will be the N, and then after comma, that's the P. But what if one day they write like this? They will write like this, but this time they use the word N. They use the word N, but then you have to know that the value in front will be the mean, and then the next value will be the variance. Okay? And this B stands for binomial, by the way. This B stands for binomial, and this N stands for normal. So if it's a binomial distribution, okay, and they write in this format, this number is the N, this number is the P. But if it's a normal distribution, they will use Z here, I think. Okay, and you will see the capital N, and the N stands for normal, and the number in front you have to know is mean, and the other one is variance. Okay, let's erase all of this. So now you know what's 25, right? What's the 25? It's the N lah. The N is 25. So now we know N is 25. And then the next value is P, and they never give us, so we don't know. And then they say P is smaller than 1/2. Why would they suddenly mention P is smaller than 1/2? Definitely later will be useful one. Because if they suddenly mention something like that, P is smaller than 1/2 means very high chance you will end up with two answer later, and then one answer will be bigger than 1/2, and one answer will be smaller than 1/2, and you have to reject the answer yang bigger than 1/2. But for now, I will just I'll just leave it for now, okay? Because I still haven't find it yet, so I don't know. And then they say variance is 5009. This we can use as an information because we all know variance formula is n times p times q, 5009. And then they say find the mean of x, and mean formula is n times p, by the way. So how to find the mean? I need to know the value of n and p lah. I already know the value of n is 25, but the problem here is I don't know the value of p. If I have the value of p, then I can find the mean already. So how to find the value of p? Use this information to help you lah. N times p times q is 5009. So n I know is 25 times with p. So it's just 25p lah. So 25 pq equals to 50 over 9. But we have a problem here because we are trying to get p, right? We are trying to get p. Because if we have p, then we can find the mean already. Because we already know n is 25. So my masalah sekarang is tak ada p. My masalah sekarang is tak ada p. So what I will do is I will change the q to 1 minus p. Because we all know that the p stands for probability of success, q stands for probability of failure. And to get the probability of failure, you can just take 1 minus p. So once I do that, then my equation only have one unknown. Then it's possible to cari p already. So if I keep doing this, I will get my value of p. Right? Then I can find the mean already. So how to continue? Expand first lah. 25p minus 25p square equals to 50 over 9. And you can see there's a square here. So this is a quadratic. So quadratic means everything have to move to one side equals 0. So I will choose to move everything to the right side to make the a positive. So 25p square plus 25 move there becomes 25p and then plus with 50 over 9. But still cannot use calculator because there's a we can cantikkan lah. Lagi hilangkan the fraction first. So everything times 9. What is 25 times 9? Let's press 225. So 225p square. Then 25 times 9 end up with 225p, and then 50 over 9 times 9 is just 50. And still cannot press calculator because they all can kecilkan, right? I think all these numbers can divide 25, but I'm not sure. Let's try 225 divide 25, 9. So you will end up with divide 25 is 9p squared, divide 25 is 9p, divide 25 is 2. Okay, now only I will press the calculator. Okay, so now I will get p equals something, but I don't know yet. I haven't tekan yet. So I will tekan now mod degree 2. What's the A? 9. The B? -9. The C? 2. So the first answer is 2 over 3 and 1. The second one is 1 over 3. So I'll write 2 over 3 here and 1 over 3 here. But above this, inside the bracket, I have to write P minus 2 and then the 3 letter depan. And here I have to be P minus 1, 3 letter depan. You always have to tukar tanda one. If the answer is positive, you have to write minus. If the answer is negative, you have to write plus. But do you remember they mentioned P has to be smaller than 1 over 2? It means which answer I will reject here. I will reject the 2 over 3 lah. So I'll write rejected here. Because 2 over 3 is actually 0.66666. And 0.666 is bigger than 1 over 2. Because 1 over 2 is 0.5. That is why I reject this. But 1 over 3, this is the answer. Because 1 over 3 is 0.33333. And 0.333 is smaller than 0.5. And this is P must be smaller than 0.5. Okay, now finally I can find the mean. Okay, I don't have enough space, so let's do it here. So I will just draw an arrow like this and then continue from here. So the mean is what? N times P. The N is 25 and then the P is 1 over 3. So the answer is 25 over 3. Okay, they ask for mean, right? That's why you cannot stop here. You cannot stop here. You still have to times with the N. So that's how you do it. Okay, let's scroll down and then we can look at B. Okay, let's read B. Diagram 6 shows a standard normal distribution graph. Okay, listen here. If you see the word normal, definitely you have to use the Z value table later. And the Z value table, they will provide it for you in exam. Okay, and I also want you to look at this word standard. If they say standard means, it means the mean is 0, the variance is 1. If they say the word standard, it means this is already Z value, this is already Z value. Okay, that's what it means lah. Okay, anyways, let's continue first. Diagram 6 shows a standard normal distribution graph. The probability represented by the area of shaded region is this one. So this shaded region area is 0.2881. And then they say find PZ bigger sama dengan H. Okay, we don't focus on this first. We just focus on the information. This 0.2881 is for what? Is for this area, right? And this area is what? Is for probability for where? Is somewhere is here, right? Which is in between 0 and H. So what I will write is P Z not X, it's already Z value already. In between what? In between H and 0. But H and 0, which one is the smaller value? H will be the smaller value and 0 will be the bigger value, because H is obviously negative. How I know? Because it's at the left side. That's why H I have to write in front. 0 I have to write at the back. Okay. But if you look carefully, the soalan never asks you to find H also. But if they ask you to find H, it will be negative something. But they never ask also. They just ask for PZ bigger than H. But don't worry about this first. We try to worry about this information. So if you look carefully, the shaded region is in between 0 and H. So what I will do is I will write PZ smaller than 0 minus PZ smaller than H equals to 0.2881. Let me explain. Do you remember I mentioned before, if your shaded region got intersect with the vertical axis, you have to take 1 minus. But tell me, do I have to take 1 minus for this question? The answer is no. Because the shaded region didn't cross over to the other side also. So you don't have to take 1 minus, because 1 is the total area. You just have to take 0.5 minus because the shaded region only touched on it. Okay, this one all I teach in class already. I'm just reminding you. So what you do is you take half of this minus the red color one. This one, the red color one. Okay, because when you minus this, you get this balance. That's why I write PZ smaller than 0 because it's to the left, right? And then minus with PZ smaller than negative H. Okay, even though I never write the negative there, but I know the negative is there. And then I know PZ smaller than 0 is 0.5. I already know that. And then PZ smaller than H, I can change to PZ bigger than H. The reason is because this is smaller than negative. H is negative. So smaller negative, smaller negative, smaller negative can change to bigger positive. Equals to 0.2881. So now since this is bigger positive already, now I can take out jadal already. But before I take out jadal, I have to pindah this one to the other side so that it becomes PZ bigger than H. And then I will move this to the other side so it becomes 0.5 minus this. So let's press 0.5 minus 0.2881. The answer is, okay, I got 0.2119. So it means PZ bigger than H equals to 0.2119, and I can now refer to the jadwal, but I have to baca dalam because dia bagi luar. Do you remember? If dia bagi dalam, you kena if it bagi luar, you kena tengok dalam. But if dia bagi dalam, you kena tengok dari luar, right? And then when you look at your jadwal, your answer will be negative something later. Okay, but for this question, I don't think you have to do that because look at the soalan. What they want? Find PZ bigger sama dengan H. And I mentioned before, in normal distribution, normal, the line is not important. The line is not important. It means PZ bigger than H is 0.2119. It means PZ bigger sama dengan H is also 0.2119. Okay, but in binomial, the line is important. If it's binomial, just remember. But in normal distribution, the line is like tak penting. The line is tak penting. It doesn't make a difference whether you put the line here or not. It doesn't make a difference in normal distribution. But in binomial, then it matters. That one it matters. So that would be the answer. Okay. I don't have to baca jadwal because they ask for PZ bigger sama dengan H. Unless if they want for H then I will keep going. Okay, let's look at number 2 here. Number 2 says what? X is a continuous random variable which normally distributed with a mean 84, standard deviation 5. Mean equals 84, standard deviation is 5. Find the value of X when the Z score is H. You already see the word normal and they suddenly give you mean and standard deviation. Why do you think they give you mean standard deviation? To convert the X value to Z because if you want to convert to Z, the formula is X tolak dengan mean bahagi standard deviation. But they already say find the value of X. It means definitely the X value I want to find in the end. And I already know the mean is 84, the standard deviation is 5. It means I just need the Z value. And they say that the Z score is H. Means the Z value is H. But do I know H? I don't know yet, right? So what I do is, I have to find the value of H now. And how to find it, I already mentioned just now. So what I will do is I will erase this. I will also erase this. And then I will continue from where I left off just now. PZ bigger sama dengan H equals to 0.219. Remember I told you you can find this by tengok jadual just now. But I didn't do it just now because the soalan number 1 never asked. But now I can tengok jadual. But remember you have to put a negative siap-siap here. Because I already say H is negative. So now what I will do is I will baca dalam. And when I baca dalam, I will look for this value. 0.2119 ataupun lebih sikit. Okay, let's go to the jadual. It's at the end of the paper. So tengok dalam, cari 0.2119. So let's scroll down. Okay, so 2199, 2119. Okay, here's the Z score table. So 0.2119 ataupun lebih sikit. So let's try to find it. So 0.2119. Okay, I found it already. Can you see it? It's here, right? So if this is the 0.2119, it means I don't have to tolak something already lah, because it's already tepat-tepat 2119. It's not lebih daripada 2119. So I don't have to worry about this part. So I just baca here, and that will be the answer. So the answer is 0.80. Okay. Okay, now let's go back up to the question. Okay, it's here, right? So let's write down 0.80 right here. Okay, so the value of h is negative 0.80. Sometimes students will forget the negative one. That's also one of the careless mistake. So remember to put the negative there because h is negative. Okay, now we already know the h is negative 0.8. So now I can finally do that. So the z score is negative 0.8, and the formula will be x minus with mean 84 divide standard deviation 5. So if I want to find x, I will just press calculator. Negative 0.8 times what? Times 5 plus 84. So I will end up with 80. So 80 is the answer. That's the x value. So now wait. Did I do it correctly? Nine. Okay, the answer schema jawapan is different. This one they write 0. Let's think about this. Okay. Bigger than h. It means here, right? So I think I did something wrong. Okay, actually I did something wrong here, right? Let's think about this. P H 0 in between. Okay, they ask for PZ bigger sama dengan H. So I think if they want PZ bigger sama dengan H, it means which part of the shaded region? It means I will take H here, and then starting from here, take until the end, right? So if I want the area here, ataupun the probability here, you will just take 0.2881, which is the shaded one. Okay, so PZ bigger sama dengan H, it will be 0.2881 plus with 0.5, right? So 0.7881 is the answer. Okay, because in the schema jawapan, that this is the answer. Then what about this one? What about the one I do? Is it wrong? Well, it's not wrong actually. It's correct also. But wait, let's think about this. Smaller than H, smaller negative, bigger positive. 0.5 minus. Actually, 0.5 minus this one. I get this. I think this one apply also lah. Can also, because this one you can do it in question 2. Right? It means this working is for question 2 lah. And the question 1 punya working is like this. Right? Because question 1 they just ask for PZ bigger sama dengan H, right? You can just do it quickly like this. But for question 2, they say you need the H value. But how to get the H value? I do it like this, right? But actually, there's also another way of doing it lah. Okay, which is by using this. Okay, but I do it a little bit different, but you will still end up with the same answer. Okay, this answer is correct. The 80 here is correct. Okay, so yeah, I think I'll just leave it at that. So that's the working. Betul already. The answer is correct already. Just the question 1 saja yang ada sikit masalah, right? So let's think about this. PZ smaller negative. Yeah, I think I did everything correctly, right? 0.5 minus. Okay, never mind. I'll just leave it at that. Okay, so let's go to number 10. A numerical palindrome is an integer that has symmetric digits. Okay, even though you don't know this word, is fine. They explain for you. It's an integer that has symmetric digits. So for example, 55, 1001. So it has a symmetrical 55. This one also symmetrical. This one also symmetrical, 2, 4, 2. And then they say find the number of 5-digit palindrome. I think this one you have to use permutation to do. So 5 digits. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It means that this digit and this digit must be the same, right? Do you agree? So when I'm trying to fill in this digit, how many options I can fill in? There will be 9 digit because we can either fill in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But we cannot fill in this with 0, I think. Because if it's 0, because the numbers cannot start from 0. It means that if I want to fill in this, it will be 9p1. Okay. But if you already fill in this with 9p1, then this will be just 1p1 only, because this digit will follow whatever here. Okay. So it means that there is 9, how to say, 9 numbers, 9 options to choose from when I masuk here. But then there's only one option to masuk here because this digit have to follow this digit. Let's go to the next digit. Okay, the next digit will be 10p1 because this one you can include 0 already. Because when we masuk the second slot, you can either masuk 0 or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's why there's 10 digit. Okay, but we all know this digit and this digit have to be same, right? So this will be 1p1. Okay, and then what about the middle one? Okay, the middle one can be anything. It doesn't have to follow anyone, so it will be 10p1. And then times. So if you press calculator, you'll get 900. So that's the answer. Okay. Okay, let's talk about B. B says diagram 7 shows 2 types of beads that Husna will be used to make a bracelet. Okay, I want to talk about this word bracelet. If you see the word bracelet, you have to know something. It means that this is a circular permutation. Circular permutation. So if it's a circular permutation, the formula is like this. The circular permutation formula will be n factorial divide n, or you can also say n minus 1 factorial. It's the same. These two formulas is the same. Let me explain a bit. If you want to arrange 5, let's say 4 objects, but if you're arranging in a straight line, then it's just 4p4. But if you're arranging in a circle, it's different one. Because arranging in a horizontal line and arranging in a circle is different. If you arrange in a circle, you have to use this formula. It will be 4 factorial ataupun 4p4 divide by 4. Or you can also say 4 minus 1 factorial, which is 3 factorial. Okay? It's the same lah. But if you see the word bracelet ataupun necklace, then you have to divide by 2, divide by 2. Only if you see the word bracelet or necklace. Because for bracelet and necklace, the clockwise arrangement and the anti-clockwise arrangement will look the same. That is why you have to divide by 2. Okay? But you only do this when you see this word bracelet ataupun necklace. Okay? But for this question, you will not use permutation. You don't need to know this actually. Okay? Let me tell you why. Because they ask how many ways can Husna choose the beads so that each bracelet contains 6 flower beads and 3 butterfly. So we are just choosing. We are not arranging. It means we will not use permutation to do. We will just use combination. So how many flower beads we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8, but I'm choosing 6. And then 3 butterfly. But we have 6 butterfly here to choose. But we have to choose 3. And then times together. So once you press this, you automatically get the answer already. Okay. 5, 6, 0. It means there's 560 ways of choosing the beads. But if they say arrange, how many ways can Husna arrange the beads? Then of course the working will be different lah, and the answer will be different also. Okay, because if they say arrange, then you have to use this formula already, the n minus 1 factorial, and you have to divide by 2. Do you know why? Because it's a bracelet. Okay, it's a bracelet. That's why you have to divide by 2. Okay, it's okay if you don't understand what I mentioned just now. You just remember when you see the word bracelet, necklace, you have to divide 2. Okay, the reason is because the clockwise arrangement and the anti-clockwise arrangement will look the same for bracelet and necklace. That's why you have to divide 2. Okay, but for this question, it is not important lah. Okay, because they are not arranging. They are using combination, so we will not worry about this formula. Okay, so but I still want to mention it because it's like it's in the syllabus and it's important. All right, let's go to question 11. Question 11. Okay, let's scroll down a bit. So question 11 says what? Balkis, Hanim, and Nurul bought some items for the preparation of Hari Raya. So 3%. Balkis bought 3 packets of dodol, 2 packets of chicken floss and 1 box of candy for 90 ringgit. And then second person, Hanim, bought 4 packets of dodol, 3 packets of chicken floss, 1 box of candy for 122 ringgit. And then Nurul bought 6 packets of dodol, 1 packet of chicken floss, 4 boxes of candy for 148. And then they say let X, Y, Z represent what? So X represent price of 1 packet of dodol, Y represent 1 packet of chicken floss, and Z represent 1 box of candy. A says construct a system of linear equation. So the first equation will be what? Okay, Balkis say he bought 3 packets of dodol, but I already know X represent the price of 1 packet. So if he buy 3 packets, so it will be 3X. The price you have to pay is 3X plus 2 packets of chicken, so 2 plus 2Y, and then plus 1Z equals to 90. Next is for the Hanim, 4 packets of dodol, so 4X plus 3Y plus Z, and how much money he paid? RM122. Okay. And for the last one, Nurul bought 6 packets of dodol plus 1 packet of chicken floss, Y, and then 4 box of candy, 4Z equals to 148. That's the answer. Okay, for B, find the unit price of each type of item purchased. So A, they never ask you to solve yet. B only they ask you to solve for X, Y, and Z. So now I will try to solve lah. And what I will do is I will use the substitution method ataupun the elimination method. But let's look at the coefficient first. 3, 4, 6, and then 2, 3, 1, and then here is 1, the coefficient, here is 1, here is 4. Actually, after looking at all the coefficient, I decide to use substitution. Okay, but you can use elimination if you want. You can use penghapusan if you want. You will still get the same answer. But I will use substitution because I like using substitution for this question. So this is question 1, this is question 2, this is question 3. So what I will do is I will go to question 1. I will go to equation 1, and I will try to make Z single. Because making Z single is much more better. Because if you make Z single, there will be no fraction. But if you make X or Y single, you will end up with fraction. So let's make Z single. It will be 90 minus 3X minus 2Y. And now what I will do is I will call this equation 4, and I will sub this equation 4 into 2 and 3. Okay. Don't sub 4 into 1. Because if you sub 4 into 1, you will end up with like math error. Okay. So you have to sub 4 into 2 and 4 into 3. Okay. Takkan lah you sub balik dia sendiri. 4 actually come from 1, so you cannot sub to 1. You have to, you start from equation 1 means you have to start into 2 and 3. So sub 4 into 2, and then later I will sub 4 into 3 here. Okay, let's draw a line here. Sub 4 into 3. Okay, let's sub 4 into 2 first. What is equation 2? 4x plus 3y plus z equals to 122, and z is 90 minus 3x minus 2y. So now you can try to do this. 4x minus 3x is x, 3y minus 2y is positive 1y. 90 you can throw there, comes 122 minus 90, which is 32. So that's my equation 1. Let's go to this. I mean equation 5. Let's go to this. Sub 4 into 3. What's equation 3? 6x plus y plus 4z equals to 148. And the z is what? 90 minus 3x minus 2y. Expand, you get 6x plus y plus 4 times 90 is 360. 4 times 3, negative 12. 4 times negative 2, negative 8 equals to 148. X dengan X boleh buat. 6 minus 12 is negative 6x. 1y minus 8y is negative 7y. 360 can throw to the other side. Come minus. 148 minus 360, negative 212. And now I can call this equation 6, and I can do substitution method again. How to do substitution method again? Just try to do here and make the x single ataupun y single. Let's make x single, 32 minus y. Call this equation 7, and then ganti the 7 into 6. Okay, let's write here. Okay, I'll continue here. I'll put a star here, and then so I continue here. I will write substitute 7 into 6. Okay, what's equation 6? Negative 6x minus 7y equals to negative 212. And the x is 32 minus y. So now I will expand. What's 6 times 32? Negative 192. And then what's negative 6 times negative y is positive 6y. And then minus 7y equals to negative 212. 6y minus 7 is negative 1y. Negative 192 throw there become plus. So what is negative 212 plus 192? Let's press. Okay, I got negative 20. So it means y is equals to 20 lah. But I still have to find x and z. So how to find x? You can ganti into equation 7. Okay, just ganti itu equation yang ada dua unknown lah. So 32 minus y, which is 32 minus 20, you end up with 12, right? And now to find z, you can ganti into equation 4. So z equals to 90 minus 3x minus 2y. So the x is 12 and the y is 20. So press in the calculator, 90 minus 36 minus 40. So 90 minus 76. So you get 14. So what they want? Find the unit price of each item of item purchase. So it means find the XYZ punya value lah. So we can write okay. Wait so we can write what? We can write dot x equals RM 12. This is the price of dodol. One packet dodol is 12 ringgit. And then Y, one packet of chicken floss, RM20. And then one box of candy. Okay, RM20 is the chicken floss. Z is the price of one box candy, RM14. Okay, so the answer is 12, 20, and 14. Okay, let's move on to the question 12. Right? Okay, question 12, they give you a diagram and they say state the function in diagram 8. Is it a discrete function or continuous function? So this function, we call it a continuous function. Okay. Okay, let me just explain why is it a continuous function. Okay, if you want a more detailed explanation, you can go to textbook page 7. Your Addmaths textbook page 7. But form 4, form 4 punya textbook. Form 4 Addmaths textbook page 7. But if you don't have the textbook, ataupun you malas want to book out the textbook, you can just listen to me now. Okay, I'll explain now. So I'll try to explain it to make it simple. Okay, so I will draw two graphs here and you try to tell me what's the difference. Okay, the first graph is like this. Okay, the first graph is like this. Second graph is like this. Now, what this type of function, we call it discrete function. And this type of graph, we call it continuous function. Let me explain. Okay, let me explain. Discrete function, the points are separated. They are not connected. Can you see it? This point and this point and this point, they are separated. They are not connected. Then we call it discrete. But continuous, the points, they are connected by a straight line. Can you see? They are, they are not separated. Okay, and they are connected in a straight line. But this one, they are separated. Can you see? So if they are not connected, the points are not connected, we call it discrete function. If they are connected, we call it continuous. Okay, and if you look at this curve is definitely a continuous function because the points are connected. Okay, it's connected like this. That is why the answer is continuous. Okay, I'll erase this because I need space to do the next question. Okay, now we can finally go to question number 2. And one more thing, for the continuous function, it doesn't necessarily have to be like a straight line one. It can be a curve like this also. Okay, as long as the point is connected, then we say it's continuous. If it's not connected, then it's called discrete. Okay, question 2. But if you want a more detailed explanation, you can go to Addmaths textbook, Form 4 textbook, Addmaths page 7. Okay, everything is like written there. If you want a more detailed punya apa description ataupun you want to belajar or you want to baca yourself, you can refer the textbook. Let's go to number 2. Determine the domain, codomain, and the range for the function. Domain means object. Codomain means image. And range is also just like, is also referring to the image. Okay, but the meaning a little bit different. Because range is like the image yang hanya sentuh saja. Okay, it's okay. We'll do it together. So let's try to find the domain first. Okay, they give you this graph, right? So graph, they give you x-axis and y-axis. So we need to know the x-axis, that is the object. And then fx, that's the image. Okay. So how to find the domain? It means I have to take from the furthest left to the furthest right, which is from here to here. And we all know here is 0, but here I don't know, right? But I can find it because this is the x-intercept. So if I want to find x-intercept, I'll just guarantee y equals 0. And for this case, the y is fx. So 0 equals to negative x minus 2 square plus 8. And then I try to find x. So how to find x? Plus 8 pindah jadi negative 8. And then the negative can pindah also. So it becomes positive 8. And then minus 2 become plus, square root Okay, let's just do it slowly. Okay, so negative 8 equals negative x minus 2 square, and then pinna negative become positive 8, x minus 2, and then the square becomes square root, and then x equals to square root 8 plus 2. Okay, but let's use calculator so that the calculator can simplify for me. Square root 8 plus 2. So I get 2 plus 2 square root 2. Okay, 2 plus 2 square root 2. If you use the white color calculator, they will simplify for you. I'm using the white color calculator, so they simplify it for me directly. But if you use the black calculator, they will give you something else. But if you simplify it, you will still end up with this. Okay. All right. So this value is 2 plus 2 square root 2. Or you can also say 4.828. But since it's an ugly answer, that's why I never write in the decimal format. I'll leave it like this. So what is the domain then? The domain will be x in between 0 until 2 plus 2 square root 2 lah. Yeah, that's the answer. Okay. And then now we move on to codomain. And we all know codomain is the image, right? So if it's the image, I will not write x, I'll write fx. But this time in between what? Of course, it will be from the paling bawah. I will look at the y-axis until where? Until the highest point lah. But we all know the highest point is 8, right? Because we know the coordinate here, right? 2, 8. Means this is 2, this is 8. So from 0 to 8 lah. So this is 0, this is 8. Remember, always put the smaller number in front here and then the bigger number here. Then what about the range? Okay, the range will be exactly the same as codomain. It will also be this fx in between 0 and 8. Because range is like image. So yeah, that's how you do it. Okay. So that's the answer. Okay, let's continue with question B. For question B, I think it's not related to question A, so I can just scroll down a bit like this. Okay, given that gx equals to this, such that blah blah blah, and then A number 1 express g inverse. Okay, this is easy. So gx equals to px minus q over rx. They want to express g inverse. So how to find inverse? So I will let g inverse x equals to A, x equals to g inverse pindah jadi GA, and then I have to find GA. Gx is px minus q over rx. So GA will be what? PA minus Q over RA. Remember, you are only changing the X to A. The other alphabet, you don't change. Only the X saja yang tukar jadi A. And now you find A because A is your G inverse. So how to find A? You can pindah RA atas. So it becomes XRA equals to PA minus Q. And then plus PA can move there, become minus. So XRA minus PA equals to negative Q. So now it becomes what? Now you can factorize A, so it becomes XR ataupun RX sama saja lah, okay? And then minus P equals to negative Q. So A equals to what? Negative Q over RX minus P. And what is your A? A is your G inverse X. And by the way, actually you want to write like this also can. This is correct. This is correct. But the negative, if you don't like, you can tukar tanda. Do you see that there's tiga ketol here? So if there's tiga ketol here, you can actually tukar tanda for everyone. So tukar tanda, negative Q becomes Q. Tukar tanda, RX becomes negative RX. Tukar tanda, negative P becomes positive P. And if I don't like, actually I can write the P depan also can. I can write like this, positive P. Okay, so that's the answer. But you also should know that kalau bawa ada X means I have to write down the undefined punya case. What is the undefined case? X cannot equals to P over R. Okay, kenapa? Because how I get this is I just take the denominator equals 0 and then I try to find X. So Rx equals to P, X equals to P over R. Okay, that's where it came from. So X cannot equals to P over R. So that's the answer for question 1. But it's not finished yet, because there's still question 2. So let's look at question 2 now. So question 1 says express G inverse in terms of PQR. Is it in terms of PQR? Yes. Okay. And then question 2 says what? Determine the G inverse of this, right? So let's write down Gx equals to 2x plus 1 over 3x. But they want you to determine the G inverse for this. So how to do? I will let G inverse x equals to A again, x equals to GA again, x equals to 2A plus 1 over 3A again, 3xa equals to 2a plus 1 again, 3xa minus 2a equals to 1 again, take out a, 3x minus 2 equals to 1, a equals to 1 over 3x minus 2, G inverse X equals to 1 over 3X plus 2. Okay, it's very straightforward lah. I hope I don't have to explain the answer. Okay, so that's the answer. I know in the answer scheme they never write like this. They write like this, right? Negative 1 over 2 minus 3x. But I already mentioned this one and this one is the same thing, because you can, if it's a fraction like that, you can actually cut under for everyone one. So it's, don't worry about the answer schema jawapan. It's the same thing. Okay, so hopefully you understand. Okay, and actually doing inverse function got many method one. Okay, and I know most, maybe some of you never use this method, fine also. Okay, but this is the method that I always teach in class and the method that I use the most. Okay, but even if you prefer other method, you can use it. Just make sure the answer is similar. Okay, if the answer is same, then boleh. Okay, let's go to section B. Section B, they want you to answer 2 questions only, but they will give you 3. They will give you 13, 14, 15. But I will do all of it. Okay, I'll do all of it because we are doing revision, so I should do all of it. Okay, in a golf practice in a hall, Hanif hits the golf ball from point A. So I can say that the ball is here, point A, and this Hanif guy, he will hit the ball. So, and it drops into the first hole, point B. So this is the first hole. So this is the first hole. So let's call this the first hole. And then this is, I assume this is second hole, this is the third hole. And then they say as shown in diagram 9. Okay, we can see that the distance from the ball to the first hole, there's 10 meter. Okay, 10 meter. Okay, let's read. The function hx equals to what? Negative x squared plus 10x represents the height achieved by golf ball in meters. And then the height of the roof of the hall is 50 meter. And if you read clearly, this negative x squared plus 10x is the equation for this one, for this quadratic curve. Hx equals to negative x squared plus 10x. Okay, because they got mentioned Hanif hit the ball from point A and it drops into the point B. It means this movement is the movement of the ball that the Hanif hit. Right now, they suddenly say this function represents the height achieved by that ball. So definitely this equation is for this curve. And then they say the height of roof is 50 meter. Okay, this one we will worry about it later lah. Okay, now let's try to do A. A says express hx in this form, and then where A, P, and Q are constant. Okay, if you look at this form, this is a vertex form, right? So how to change the general form to vertex form? You have to do completing the square, right? So hx is equals to negative x squared plus 10x, and now I have to do completing the square so that it I can change to this form, vertex form. So do you know how to do completing the square? What is the first thing I need to make sure? I need to make sure the A must be positive 1, right? So I have to make sure nothing in front here. So what I have to do is I have to take out the negative. Okay, so when you hilangkan the negative means I have to tukar tanda. So it becomes x squared. The positive 10, when I take out negative, I have to tukar tanda, become minus 10x like that. And then I will do negative big bracket, negative big bracket, negative big bracket. The big bracket is very important. A lot of students, they don't want to open the big bracket. But it's very important. Okay, after you open the big bracket, now only I will start to do completing the square. And how to do completing the square? X squared minus 10x plus bracket square, and then minus bracket square, and then close big bracket. Usually I will write the C here, but there's no C for this question. That's why I just leave it blank. Means 0 lah. There's no C. And what you write inside the small bracket, you have to write B over 2. But please don't write 10 over 2. Wrong. It's not 10 over 2. It's negative 10 over 2. Because the B, you cannot tengok paling atas one. You have to tengok beside here. So negative 10 over 2. Okay. And now I always teach in class. I say what? Jangan tengok yang sini kan. Jangan tengok yang the middle one, jangan tengok. And then just open a bracket square. Just tengok depan dengan sini. So x square I take out. So tinggal x. Negative 10 divided 2. Take out just negative 5. The square tak payah square because I already tulis outside. And then sini minus kan. So saya pun minus. Negative 10 divided 2 is negative 5. Negative 5 square is positive 25. But even though it's positive 25, I will still write the minus because the minus is outside the bracket. So now, this is still not your vertex form. Because remember the big bracket. Because you have to darat masuk the negative. So it becomes negative. And now I will stop writing the big bracket. So it will be x minus 5 square. The minus 25 become plus 25. Then only you sudah berjaya tukar jadi vertex form. The big bracket is very important. I keep saying that because it's very important. So if you don't write the big bracket, you will get confused yourself. Okay, so remember. And one more thing is, please don't go and change the minus 5 here to plus 5. Cannot, because you cannot take the negative times inside this bracket because this bracket has power. It has power 2. So dia tak boleh masuk. So if dia datang lambat, dia kena duduk luar macam ni. Dia tak boleh masuk dalam dah. Okay. But the negative 25, that one will change lah. Okay. All right. So that's the answer for A. What about answer for B? State the maximum height achieved by the ball. If they want the maximum height, means they want the y coordinate of the turning point lah. They want the y coordinate of the turning point, not the x coordinate, the y coordinate. So what's the y coordinate? 25. So 25 meter. Okay. Let me explain why is it y coordinate. Because from the vertex form, we can actually find the turning point, which is the maximum point. If you look at this curve, it goes up like this, right? Where do you think is the maximum height? It's here, right? It's this point, right? So the coordinate of this point, I can take out dari sini. -5, when I take out, kena tukar tanda jadi 5. And then this one 25. Means the axis of symmetry is what? The axis of symmetry is x equals 5. But we don't care about that. We want the maximum height, which is the y coordinate lah, the 25 lah, not the 5. The 5 is just distance from here to here. It's just the axis of symmetry. What I want is the height. That's why I look at the y coordinate. Okay, let's look at C now. If Hannes wants the golf ball to drop into the third hole, point D, the path of the ball will passes through E, which is 4 to the right and 4 meter to the right of A and 32 meter vertically above from the ground. Determine whether the ball hit by Hanif can reach the roof of the hall. Give your reason. Okay, let's look at let's read again. If Hanif wants the golf ball to hit the third hole, so the third hole is point D. Yeah. So let's highlight it. So third hole is here. So this is the movement of the ball this time. Okay, sorry. So it go up like this. The third hole, the third hole, the third hole, the third hole like this. So now the distance is not 10 meter anymore. It's 12 meter. Okay, it's 12 meter already. And the quadratic curve equation, I cannot use this already because this equation is for the small one. This one is like way bigger. And then what else? The path of the ball will pass through point E, which is 4 meter to the right of A, 32 meter above from ground. So let's go. Point E, where is point E? So this is point E, right? 4 meter to the right of A and 32 meter above ground. So can we assume A is the origin? Can we do that? Because if we assume A is the origin, then I can write down the coordinate of E already. So I think I can assume A is the origin. Okay, we can all assume A is the origin. The reason is because, okay, Tupper, I'll explain later. So I will draw the axis. Okay, sorry. Okay, so I can assume this is the x-axis and the y-axis. The reason is because if you look carefully, if this is 0, 0, it makes sense because 0 until 10, this is 10 meter, right? That is why the axis of symmetry is 5. Because 0 and 10, the half is 5. Okay, so it means we can assume this is the origin. And if they say point E is 4 meter to the right, 32 to the up, means point E is 4, 32 lah. The x coordinate of point E is 4, the y coordinate is 32. Okay, so now let's keep reading what else the soalan says. So now it says 4 meter to the right, 32 meter. Okay, determine whether the ball hit by Hanif can reach the roof of the hall. Okay, do you remember they mentioned something about the roof of hall being 50 meter, right? So what I have to do is the roof of hall is 50 meter, and then now I have to find my new maximum height and see whether my new maximum height is bigger than 50 or smaller than 50. If it's bigger than 50, then the ball will hit the roof lah. But if it's smaller than 50, then it doesn't hit the roof. It means I have to find this point, the red color curve, but the maximum point here. But we don't know but we need the y coordinate, not the x coordinate, because we want the height. The x coordinate doesn't tell us anything. But we do know the x coordinate is 6. How I know? Because this is 12, right? Do you remember if this is 10 meter, the half of it is 5. So if this is 12, then this will be 6. But what I want is the y coordinate, because the y coordinate will tell me the height of this. And the height of this cannot be more than 50, because if it's more than 50, then it will hit the roof. So how to get the y coordinate? Well, we have to form the equation. Okay, so how to form the equation? Okay, first I will erase this. Okay, this time I will call it fx lah, because just now we called the small curve hx. So we should call it something else. We call it fx, but we will try to write in the vertex form. So the vertex form should look like this: a bracket x plus p square plus q. Okay, like this lah, like this. But this time your a, p, and q value will be different. Like just now, it won't be the same. Okay, just now it's like this, right? But the one is for the small curve. So this time the a I don't know, the q also I don't know, because the q is the y coordinate. The a also I don't know, but I do know the a is negative, but I don't know negative how much lah, because yeah, I don't know. But the P, I know. The P is -6. Because I already know the axis of symmetry is 6, right? So yeah, that's why I know the P is -6. And what about the fx? The fx also, I'll just leave it like this. So this is so far the equation. So let's write it down. Fx equals to what? Ax minus 6 squared plus q. So fx equals to ax minus 6 squared plus q. But to complete my equation, I still have to find uh, a and q. A and q to complete the whole vertex form. So how to find a and q? Okay, there's a few points that we can use. Do you remember they mentioned point E, which is 432? So definitely I can ganti, right? Because God passes through. So since it passes through point E, which is 432, means I can do what? I can ganti x equals 4 and ganti y equals 32. So the equation will be 32 because you can ganti 32 inside y lah ataupun fx. Y and fx is the same thing. So 32 equals to what? A bracket x minus 6, which is 4 minus 6 square plus q. So now you will get 32 equals to A. 4 minus 6 is -2. -2 square is +4 plus q. So 32 equals to 4A plus q. This is my first equation. I cannot continue already because there's two unknown. But look carefully. There's another point that we can use here. Because this red curve, it passes through point E. It also passes through point O, right? The origin, 0, 0. I already tell you, we already assume A is 0, 0. We cannot use this one because this one is not complete. So we will use the 0, 0 point. And we will do the same. We will just ganti x0, y0. So what happens when you ganti 0, 0? So the fx, I will write 0 and then equals to A bracket x also 0 minus 6 square plus q. The reason why we can ganti like this is because they got passes through the point. Okay, if you got passes through the point, you can ganti like that. So 0 equals to A, -6 squared is 36. So just write 36A lah, and then plus q. And then now I call this equation 2, and now I think I can do what? Simultaneous. But I think we will just use elimination method because this one is plus q already. They already have the same coefficient. So why not we just take equation 2 minus equation 1. So 0 equals to 36A plus q, and then 32 equals to 4A plus q. And then you will minus. Why minus? Because positive, the thunder same, so minus. So q minus q is 0. 0 minus 32 is -32. 36 minus 4 is 32A. A is -1. Okay, and then we can find q. So how to find q? You can, let's say, ganti into this equation. 0 equals to 36A plus q, but A we already know -1. So q equals to 36. Okay, but of course you can also say something like, oh, use substitution method. Pindah this one, make the q single, and then q equals to q. Can also lah. You will still get the same answer. So now since we know already the equation is what? fx equals to A, which is -1, so negative bracket x minus 6 square plus q. So the q is what? The q is 36. So now we can answer the soalan. Determine whether the ball hit by Hanif can reach the roof of the hall. Give your reason. So can this ball reach the roof? No. Why? Because we already know the maximum height is how much? It's not 6, it's 36 meter. Because if you want to know the maximum height, we look at the y coordinate, not the x coordinate. So the y coordinate is 36, right? But the roof of the hall is 50. That's why it doesn't reach. So how we want to write? We have to write a sentence for them. So determine whether the ball hit can reach the roof. So we can write no. Okay. So no, the ball will not reach the roof with the roof will not reach the roof because 36 meter is smaller than 50 meter. You can jawab macam tu lah. Okay, so the ball will not reach the roof because the roof is 50 meter, right? So yeah, that's how we do it. Okay, let's continue with question number 14. 14 says what? If A is the first term and D is the common difference of an arithmetic progression, show that the sum of first n term of progression is this one. So another one of these questions. Actually, this question comes out quite a lot in trial paper. They like to ask this. I do this type of question a lot, where they ask you to derive a formula. Okay, I remember doing one question like that also. I forget whether it's the Kedah or Kelantan paper. They asked me to derive the Sopor formula, the A plus equals to negative B over A, and then alpha beta C over A. You can look at my previous video. I forgot which one lah. One of the video, okay. They also ask like that. Okay, but this type of question, student always struggle with this type of question. So, okay, so let's go. Let's do it. Okay, they want you to derive this formula, right? The SN formula. Okay, how will I do this? First of all, I will, okay, there's no space here. I really want to use this space. So, okay, let's make this smaller. So maybe I'll do it like this and then make it smaller. Because I really need the space. So yeah. Okay, let's do it here. Okay, so 14, 14A question 1. So they want me to derive this formula, right? So what we can do is write down the SN punya formula, which is T1 plus T2 plus T3 and then dot 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 so on until Tn minus 1 and then until Tn. It means, for example, if this is S4, means I want T1 plus T2 plus T3 until T4 lah. You faham maksud saya? So if it's like Sn, then it will be T1 plus T2 what? And then if this is S5, it's just T1 plus T2 plus T3 plus T4 plus T5. That's what it means. And then what I will do is I will use the Tn formula, which is A plus n minus 1d. This is the formula for Tn for arithmetic progression. So T1, we all know it's just A. T2 is A plus 1d, which is A plus d. And then plus, it keeps going, keeps going. Why there's no E? Okay, sorry. Okay, so A plus 1d and then keep plus and then dot 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 and then until here same, it will be A plus n minus 1d, but your n is n minus 1. So what is n minus 1 minus 1? So it will be n minus 2d and then plus with Tn, this one is A plus n minus 1d. Okay, and now what I will do is I will write a new equation for Sn, new one, not the same one, but I will write it a little bit differently this time. I will start from the last term, which is A plus n minus 1d, okay? And then followed by this, A plus n minus 2d, and then dot, 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 followed by A plus d, and then slowly plus A like that, okay? You can do that, right? Because if I say 1 plus 2 plus 3 is the same as 3 plus 2 plus 1, right? You can change the way, you can terbalik kan, as long as you are not changing the sign, the tanda. And now what I will do is I will try to find the value of 2Sn. How to do that? You will plus these two together lah. Because when you take Sn plus Sn, you will get 2Sn. But you will add in a very special way. You add like this. The first term you will add together, and then the second term will add together, and then the third term will add together like this, and then the fourth term, not the fourth term, the last term will add together like this. So if you look at the first here, what you see? You add them together, it become what? A plus A will be 2A plus n minus 1d. Okay. Okay, what about the next one? A plus D plus A plus n minus 2d. So A plus A will be 2A, and then this is 1d. Okay. What is 1d plus n minus 2d? 1d plus n minus 2d. It means I have to do 1 plus n minus 2d, which is n minus 1d. So you will end up with n minus 1d here. And then dot, 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 dot. What is A plus n minus 2d plus A plus d? Same like just now. A plus A is 2A. And then n minus 2 plus 1, which is n minus 1d. And then the last one, A plus A is 2A plus with n minus 1d. Can you see that this is 2A plus n minus 1d? This is also the same. This is also the same. This is also the same. But how many of these do you have? How many ketolan do you have? There should be n. You should write this like berapa kali? You should write n kali lah. Betul tak? If this is S4, then it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 terms. If it's S5, then it will be 5 terms. But since this is Sn, it means there are n amount of this lah. It means 2Sn is actually n darab dengan 2A plus n minus 1d because there's n terms. And since I want to find Sn, it will be n divide 2 and then 2a plus n minus 1b. Okay, and then we can write shown here. Okay, because after we finish, we will try to look at this, and the one they give is the same, right? So this is how you derive the SN formula. Okay, so let's go to question 2. Question 2 say given an AP is this, find the sum of first n term, means find the SN lah. Okay, first you need to get the A and D first. I don't care if they give you progression, you get to get the A and D. So A is 3, D is 4. Okay, because 7 minus 3 is 4, but they want SN. So how to find? Use the formula n over 2 big bracket 2a, which is 2 times 3 plus n minus 1. N tak ada kan? Just write n minus 1 lah, and then times 4. It means your answer will be in terms of n lah. So when they say find the sum of first n term, they should say in terms of n actually. Okay, because it's impossible to get a nice answer. Your answer will have n. So n over 2, 2 times 3 is 6, and then plus 4 times n is 4n, minus 1 times 4 is minus 4. So you end up with n over 2. 6 minus 4 is 2, so 2 plus 4n. 2 times n divide 2. So 2 times n is 2n. 2n divide 2 is 1n. 4n times n is 4n squared. 4n squared divide 2 is 2n squared. That's the answer, right? So as you can see, the answer is in terms of n. So Alan B, solve this equation 3, 7, plus all together. Okay, I think I will convert this to progression. So the first term will be 3, second term is 7, 11, 15, dot, 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 and the last term is x. And I know the A is 3, the D is 4, and I also know the SN is 1275. The reason is because the sum of all these terms add together until the x term is 1275. That's why it's SN. So what you do now is use the formula. Can I do that? Yeah, right. They want you to solve. Solve means cari x, right? So yeah, I think you can do that. So n over 2. Oh, tak payah. Since we are talking about the same progression, because this one, the A is 3, right? I see that already. This one, A is 3, D is 4. So the SN will be this one, right? So if I'm malas, I don't have to do all of this again. I will just continue from here and just tulis n plus 2n squared equals to 1275, and it's a quadratic. So let's susun to everything to one side equals 0. 2n squared plus n minus 1275 equals 0, and then bracket, and then n equals something, and then press calculator. So mod degree 2, A is 2, B is 1, C is negative 1275. The answer is 25 and negative 51 over 2. So definitely I have to tukar tanda. If this one positive, I have to write minus negative. This one negative, I have to write positive 51. The 2 letak depan. And I have to reject the negative one lah. Because why? Because n cannot have negative one. Remember, n cannot have fraction, cannot have decimal, cannot have negative. So the n is 25. Means this is T1, this is T2, T3, T4, and Tx is T25. But it's still not the answer yet because they want you to solve. Solve means find the unknown, means find the x. So I still don't know the value of x yet because x is not 25. But we already know x is the 25th term, so I can find 25. So use what formula? A plus n minus 1 d formula. So A is 3 plus n minus 1. 25 minus 1 is 24 times with d. So press this, then you get the answer. Okay, what I get? 3 plus 25 times 24 times 4. I got 99. Right. So that's how you do this question, right? Okay, finally we are at the last question, question 15. All right. So let's read the question. Pak Samad owns a piece of rectangular land in which the semicircle is a pond. So the pond is a semicircle. So can you tell me, if it's a semicircle, what is the angle here? It would be 180 degree, or in radian, it's pi radian. Okay, because in Addmaths they usually like to ask in radian, right? So you should know 180 is in radian is pi, but I will erase it lah. And then let's keep reading. And the rest of the area is used to rear ducks as shown in the diagram 10, and this area is fenced with a wire of 120 meter length. Given that the width of the land is 2x meter. Okay, so there's a pond, and then the rest of the area is for the duck area, and the duck area is fence with the wire of 120 meter length. So the 120 is the perimeter for where? For the dark area only. So here, fence, put fence here, and then put fence here, and then put fence here, and then put fence here, and yeah. So this is the fence area. And they also mentioned the width of the land is 2x. So the width is the lebar. So it means here, the length here is 2x. And the length here should be 2x also. But since we know that this is the diameter of the pond, it means half of half of it will be x, it will be x, and that will be the radius of the semicircle. Okay. And let's see A, what they want. Show that the area to keep the ducks is given by this. Okay, what I will do is I will look at this final answer and I will look in terms of what. So if you look carefully, this is in terms of what? This is L, which is the area in terms of X only. Okay, and also pi lah, okay? But it's in terms of X only. So if it's in terms of X only, how should I do this? Okay, first of all, we need to use the perimeter info. We need to start from the perimeter info. So perimeter equals to what? 120 meter. But what they want us to show now, they want us to show that the area is equals to this one, right? But before I start to find the area, I need to start here. I need to start from the perimeter information. So perimeter will be all the sides add together, right? Which is 2x. Here is 2x plus and here. But since we don't know here, we don't know the length here and here, we will just call it y. So it will be 2x plus y, which is plus 2y, and then plus with the arc. Okay. And the length of arc formula, we will use s equals r theta. The radius will be x, and the theta will be 180 degree, but we need to make sure it's in radian. So we will just write pi. So the arc is actually pi x, okay? So 2x plus 2y plus pi x equals to 120. And what I will do now is I will find y. I will make the y single. Let me tell you why. Kenapa saya nak jadikan y single? Because the one they asked me to show is in terms of x. That is why I will cari y. If they ask us to show the area, but the final answer is in terms of y, then I will find x single here. So I repeat again. They ask us to show the area, but the answer here is in terms of x. It means I have to make y single. I have to cari y sekarang. Okay, tak apa, everything will make sense later. Okay, so let's cari y. So how to make y single? 120 minus 2x minus pi x. Okay, and then okay, let's erase this. Okay, and then what you do is everything divide by 2 because I want y to be single. So divide 2 is 60, divide 2 is x, divide 2 is 1 over 2 pi x. Saya sudah berjaya cari y single. Now only I will focus on finding the area. Usually I will use the huruf A to represent area, but since this question they want me to use L, so let's just use L. Okay, actually L I think it's because luas. Yeah, area in Bahasa Melayu is luas, that's why I don't use L. So it's fine, let's just use L. It's just a alphabet, nothing much. And then I'll try to find the area of the dark area, the shaded region. So this one, the red color one. So how to find this area? I will take area of rectangle, which is 2x times y, 2xy, minus with the area of pond. And we all know this is a semicircle. So what's the area of circle formula? 1 over 2 r squared theta, right? And the radius will be x. We know that. The theta will be pi, because in radian, 180 degree in radian is pi. So what you do now is you will try to simplify this. So 2xy, the y I will, instead of writing y, I will write this 60 minus x minus 1 over 2 pi x, and then minus the pi I can darab with 1 over 2. I will end up with pi. Okay, let's not do that. Let's just write 1 over 2 pi x squared. Yeah, just like this. And then now I will take this one, expand the bracket, times inside. So 2 times 60 is 130x, 2x times x, negative 2x squared. And then here negative 2 times 2 cut already. So just left with x times pi x, which is pi x squared, and then minus 1 over 2 pi x squared. So now do you understand why I cari y sini? Because the one they asked me to show is in terms of x. That is why I cari y sini lah. So that when I cari area, I can gantikan the y with something else, right? If I try to cari x single here, then my answer here will be in terms of y already, and then I can't show this already. Okay, so make sure you know that. If they ask us to show the answer in terms of x, then I have to cari y. Okay, now I will just have to what here, and here, right? So 120x tak boleh buat dah, but this one is x squared, x squared, x squared. So they can all do it together. So what I will do is I will focus on doing this and this, right? So the minus 2x squared, I will leave it. And then what is negative pi x squared minus 1 over 2 pi x squared? I will just tekan negative 1 minus 1 over 2, right? So what is negative 1 minus 1 over 2? Negative 3 over 2. So the answer will be negative 3 over 2 pi x squared. And this is exactly the same as what they show here. So I will write shown. Okay. Remember, for soalan jenis show, you they will give you the final answer. So your final answer should look exactly like this. So you don't have to factorize or do anything already. You just leave it like this because this already looks exactly the same as this. Let's go to B. B says find the value of x when L is maximum. This is definitely under differentiation, the maximum minimum punya part. So soalan B, they already say L is maximum. If they say L is maximum, it means differentiate L punya equation equals 0. If they say A minimum, then differentiate A punya equation equals 0. Doesn't matter maximum or minimum. The cara buat is sama. You just differentiate that equals 0. So sekarang L yang maximum, so you have to differentiate L punya equation equals 0. L punya equation is 120x minus 2x squared minus 3 over 2 pi x squared. And what you do is you will do dl dx equals 0. So what is differentiate 120x? 120. Differentiate this one is negative 4x. Power times number, power minus 1. Minus power times number is 3. And then power minus 1 is just pi x power 1 equals to 0. And now I can find x. But they say in terms of pi, right? So maybe I should make the x positive. So maybe like this, negative 4x pindah jadi 4x, minus 3 jadi plus 3 pi x. And then factorize out the x. So it left with 4 plus 3 pi. And then here is 120. And then x is equals to 120 divide 4 plus 3 pi. Don't have to tekan the pi lah because they want in terms of pi. So the answer will be 120 over 4 plus 3 pi in bracket centimeters. So that is the answer for B because they say find the value of x, right? But there's also a time where they want you to find the value of L, you know. So what if they ask like that? Find the value of L when L is maximum. So what you do? You will write down the same working, but after you sampai sini, you will ganti this into the original equation. Ganti this inside here and get L. Okay, but for this question no need lah, because they ask for value of x. Let's continue with C. During the drought season, the surface water of the pond. Oh, I think it's referring to this pond lah. So the surface water. So the surface water of pond macam mana is reduced with the rate of 0.02 due to evaporization. Find the rate of change in radius at the instant when the radius is 8 meter. So during the drought season, what happens is this pond punya surface area start to get smaller, right? And it says that the surface water of the pond is reduced with a rate of 0.02. So this is definitely under differentiation, under rate of change. So what we have to do is we have to write down this 0.02 is what? So you see the word rate. Do you remember I told you if you see the word rate, they must be over what? They must be over dt. Okay? Doesn't matter. If you see the word rate, is over dt. But this one is rate of area. So I will write dA. Why is it area? Because look at the unit. It's meter square and then per second. So meter square is a unit for area. Means they're talking about the surface area of water decreasing. So dA dt equals to 0.02 with a negative because decrease is reduced. That's why it's negative. What if they say rate of volume? Then dV dt. What if they say rate of radius? Then dr dt. Okay. As long as you see the word rate, then it's over dt already, confirm. And then they say find the rate of change in radius. So rate again, you see the word rate. So dr over dt, but they want you to find. So this is your final answer. So I'll put the question mark. At the instant when radius is 8 meters, so r equals to 8. Find in terms of pi. So they want to find dr dt, but in terms of pi. So let's not press the pi later. Okay, macam mana saya ajar untuk buat soalan jenis rate of change? First, we will kosongkan this part. And then we will go somewhere here and draw something like this, right? Line equals to line, darab line. And I already say sini dengan sini wajib sama, dia wajib dt. And then here and here will be same, here and here will be same, right? And what do you think I will write here and here? I will write the subject, right? But if you look carefully at the information I write here, I already know dA dt and dr dt. It means it's either dA dA, dr dr, ataupun dr dr dA dA. But which one do you think makes sense? Who do you think is the subject here, A or R? So let's read again the question. This A stands for surface area of water. So definitely there is a formula where you can write for the surface area of water. What's the surface area of water formula? It will be pi r square, right? Because the surface area of water is just a big circle. But since this is a semicircle, it will be 1 over 2 pi r square. So let's write it down. A surface, which is represents surface area of pond, is 1 over 2 pi r square. Okay. Actually, you want to use the other formula also can, which is the 1 over 2 r squared theta. But if you use this formula, the theta you have to you have to replace with pi lah, because the angle is only pi, right? And you will get 1/2 pi r square, which is the same with what I write here. It's the same. Okay, let's continue here. So what you do is you can see the subject is clearly is A. So that's why it's dA here, dr here. Actually, if you put dr here and dA here, can also. But but usually we will put the subject here. Okay, dA dt is negative 0.02. I can put in. TA dr, I don't have it. And dr dt is the question mark. So this is the final answer. This is what I want in the end. So what do I want now? What I have to find now? By myself, I have to find this lah, dA dr. So how to find dA dr? I will differentiate this equation. A lot of students will make this mistake. They will try to ganti the 8 inside like this. 1/2 pi 8 square. Salah tu. Salah. Wrong. You cannot ganti now. You differentiate dulu baru ganti. Bukan ganti dulu. So remember that you differentiate first. 2 times 1/2 is 1, so don't have to write. And then power have to minus 1 PR. And then now only you will ganti in. Pi r, now only you ganti 8. So now you get 8 pi. So now you know dA dr is 8 pi, now only you put inside like this. This is the correct method. And then now you can finally find dr dt. It's negative 0.02 divide 8/pi. But the soalan says in terms of pi. So I will leave the pi, I won't touch it. And then I will just press negative 0.02 divide 8. So I will press now, negative 0.02 divide 8, shift ABC, negative 1/400. So negative 1/400. The pi no need to tekan because the soalan wants the pi there. They want in terms of pi. So the answer is negative 1/400 pi. Make sure the pi duduk bawah. The unit will be radius. So radius is in meter, time is in second. Because I remember they use meter, they never use centimeter, right? So radius is meter. Okay. So that's the answer. All right. That's all. Bye bye.